I'm Mark Small. I'm co-host with Paul Ogden of Civil Discourse Now. We are coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana on a beautiful autumn day, November 5th, 2011. We're coming to you from Big Hat Books. It's a bookstore in Broad Ripple. It's on the north side of Indianapolis, 6510 Cornell, right next to the Monon Trail, which is like a greenway where people jog and do stuff. And it's kind of neat. Big Hat Books has an excellent selection of books. It also has space here to rent for different occasions should you choose to do so.
Mark, do you know if there is in this bookstore a book on Ponzi schemes?
Yes.
I'd like to read about that.
Yes, there is actually, called Crime Pays, written by me.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yes, it's a fictionalized account of a Ponzi scheme that occurred in Indiana in the 1960s. Actually, they made like $27 million in 1969 dollars, which translates to about $130 to $180 million today, which, in the grand scheme of things, might not be that much money, but hey, to me, it did buy a couple of pizzas.
Right. Civil Discourse Now is a program which, by its name, is a civil discussion of political issues, whether those political issues be local, state, national, or international. The thought behind the program, Mark Small being the founder of the program, is that there was not enough civil discussion of political issues. You have on TV, you have on radio, people yelling at each other, or not getting into arguing or getting into the issues in any kind of detail or any kind of depth. We're very fortunate today to have someone from fellow Pike Township. I did not grow up in Pike Township. I live in Pike Township and lived there since 1986 or so.
And then Witness Protection.
And the Witness Protection Program, right? I had a different name at that time. Long time been active in politics in Pike Township. I've been a candidate in Pike Township. I'm always encouraged when I see young people willing to throw their hats in the ring. And we have one such person today. We have Sahara Williams, who's a candidate in Council District 7, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, tell us something about yourself.
Sure, I'm Sahara Williams.
I mispronounced it, Sahara.
That's fine. Running for City County Council in District number 7. District 7 is bordered roughly by 56th Street on the north, 25th Street on the south, High School Road on the west, and Guyan or Lincoln Road on the east. So it's Southern Pike and a little bit of Northern Wayne and Speedway. I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I came here by way of Purdue. I wanted to get away from mom and dad as soon as I graduated, and actually I went down to Tuskegee University to study architecture for a couple of years. And, well, actually, I went to Tuskegee to study veterinary medicine, but decided to study architecture, and stayed there for a couple of years. And my teacher told me my buildings were too square. They weren't
Too square.
They weren't crazy enough. So, which now in the adult world, all buildings are square. Well, most of them are square. So, so he encouraged me to switch over to engineering, which is what I did, and I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering with the emphasis on structures, so I was still in the building world from North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro, North Carolina. And then I got my master's from Purdue in the same thing. And so Purdue brought me to Indiana, and it kept me here because I really loved Indiana, and I really have felt so blessed and fortunate to be a part of the Indianapolis community. I moved to the west side as soon as I moved to Indianapolis, and I've been over here the entire time. And what I've been doing since I've been here, other than engineering, I've worked for several companies, engineering and architectural companies around the city. But I started my own not-for-profit program to teach inner city kids life skills and character building, to give them positive options for developing peer-to-peer relationships that could help give them the sense of family that they often look for when they join gangs and go to negative routes. I find that when youth find something that they can get engaged with other kids that are their age at a young age, and they can, really throw their passion and time into it, they will focus on that, and they will tend to stay out of trouble, and it can be a career path for them. And you see, like with Venus and Sahara Williams, who I really like to use because I can pretend like I'm related to them.
There you go. Same last name.
Yeah.
You play tennis too?
No.
No.
But they started at a young age, and look what it's taken them, and that's the opportunity that I wanted to give inner city kids with horses and with animals, something that I've always loved. And there are a lot of horse programs, but they're out in Boone County and Cicero. We're at 38th and Moeller. So we're within a mile of like 11 schools, public, private, charter schools. And once the parents signed them up, kids rode their bike up there, after school. When we weren't even open, when I was trying to just enjoy my Sunday. So it really is a great opportunity, and I really.
So let me be clear about this. You had horses there?
Yes.
I'm a big fan of horses.
Okay.
I grew up in the country. Did you grow up in the country, or?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, you did say that. I just was curious how you got to be such a fan of horses and teaching people how to ride, and that would be.
I
a good
was raised
background.
on a farm. We had horses. Horses either like people or they don't like people.
They probably didn't like you.
Even though I fed those horses every day, I was the one who was given the task of throwing the bales of hay from the hay mound down to them. They liked me to pet their nose. They liked me to rub their sides. They did not like me to jump on their backs. I would be thrown off. I liked the horses. They just didn't. They liked it for me to feed them, but they didn't like much else.
Right. So if someone wanted to contact you about this particular program, we'll get into your campaign contact information. Is it on the website? You have a website for that?
I took the website down for that.
Okay.
That had something to do with my my house, because my house is there too.
Okay,
And
I got you. You don't want
but they can call 924-9008, and we have done programs right now. This year I did programs for other groups, But when we were at our largest in 2009, I took the kids to the state fair. Kids that had never competed. When they came, they didn't even know anything about horses. But gave them the opportunity and the confidence. That's the really big thing. It's not the riding, but the confidence to be able to take charge of a 1,500-pound animal, to be able to feel confident walking the animal, riding the animal, wherever their skill level was. It wasn't about the skill. It was really about the personal development. But took them to the state fair and the county fair so they could actually compete and get ribbons for their care for the animals, for their knowledge of the animals, and had a full day camp for all summer long, riding lessons. So just, really trying to take the initiative to trying to solve one of the biggest problems in our community is youth not, developing into positively contributing adults. And I think that starts at a young age with parents, and when they don't have strong parents, just mentors and people willing to engage them in their lives.
Well, a lot of kids, though, their parents are at work, and they get off of school earlier than that, and that's a critical time during the day.
It is, and it's one of the highest times for crime too. It is, and that's why I say with this program and so many others like it. I mean, we have Big Car in our neighborhood, which is a art program that recently started at 38th and Lafayette Road. We have Tracy's Urban Jam Dance Studio that is at 34th and Georgetown Road. I have met so many people that have an interest in trying to work with and develop our youth, and most of them are like me, who, we don't have a lot of money. We're not, just rich, or we're just people that work hard every day and have made the commitment to try to spend their quote unquote disposable income trying to help someone else. And many, I don't have kids, and I know Tracy doesn't have kids. So many of the people, they just want to try to do something to work in the community.
Why did this? How did this become such a passion for you? Is it because of your background, or is it because of some of the experiences you've had, or it's interesting?
I categorize myself as a doer, and so when the animal, I just love animals. Number one, I had always thought I'd be a veterinarian. But
vet schools, real. I was at Purdue for 4 years on staff, and
60s or 50s.
And I was working in the libraries, and engineering's tough. I mean, civil engineering's tough. Vet school's tough. But it's really fascinating too to listen to people talk, and I went over to the vet school a couple times for different things. It's kind of neat.
Animals are they're so calming, they're so relaxing. I think that they don't, you don't have a whole lot of conflict with them the way you can with people and everybody having, they're just there for you. But I have 2 dogs, a cat,
I was going to ask
and
you,
a horse.
You 2 dogs, a cat, and a horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my dogs, they're in the house with me. And
well, that leads into one of the issues that recently was in the paper about animal control issues. If you're elected to the council, what changes do you think need to be made there? How should we? Obviously, we have a problem. We don't. Personally, I don't like to see animals killed.
No. It's heartbreaking. And the story that was run on one of the news stations, it was really heartbreaking. I think that in leadership, the thing you have to distinguish between is just complaining about an issue and really taking into account and understanding everything that's involved with trying to solve it. Now, the best thing would be for pet owners to be more responsible, to spay and neuter their animals. They can go to some of the low-cost centers if they need to. There are organizations like Indy Feral that will do it, for like I think $20, and some of them even do it for free. But for people to take more responsibility for how they're contributing to the problem, and if we can start to try to eliminate those issues, the same thing with kids and crime. How can we try to eliminate the cause of the issue versus trying to solve it on the back end with the police, or the police dealing with crime? Have programs for kids and parents engaging their kids up front. The same thing with the animals. We need people to be more responsible so that we don't have this problem. Right now, and that's the number one thing, but given that everyone is not going to be responsible, we really need to think about how we can brainstorm ideas to address the problem. We can't have dogs in the street biting people, tearing up the neighborhood just because it breaks our heart to see them euthanized. There has to be some balance. People are not going to stand for,
And Sahara, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're at the end of this segment.
Oh,
That's okay. We'll be right back.
Very
If people are going to write